Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Route 422 Business Advisor Show. I'm your host, Bill Haley, and we have a very interesting show for you today. We're going to devote the whole half hour to the TriCounty Area Chamber of Commerce. So this is of special interest to all you businesses out there watching this show. And my guest, of course, is the president of the TriCounty Area Chamber of Commerce, Eileen Dautrich. Hi.
Thank you,
Eileen.
Bill.
Great to be here today, huh?
It is. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about our organization, talk about our partnership, and welcome the chance to just share some information to the business community and the community at large.
Excellent. Very good. Well, let's start off just telling our viewers a little bit about the TriCounty Area Chamber of Commerce.
Sure. The Chamber is a business advocacy organization. Mm-hmm. We're membership-based, and we are a little unique in the fact that we cover a portion of 3 different counties. Southeastern Berks, Western Montgomery, and Northern Chester. Right. It's actually the territory of 41 different municipalities, which is quite large. But again, we're membership-based, so we're kind of like any other membership organization. The people who pay dues to belong to the TriCounty Chamber are those who take advantage of the benefits that we have to offer.
They do, but they're not the only ones who benefit. Actually, businesses throughout the entire region benefit. That's a good way of inviting our businesses viewing this show who are not members to think about the benefits you do get from this chamber that's very proactive in terms of legislative issues, in terms of providing networking, communication, all kinds of things that you do, and we'll get into some of those things, really benefit every business in the region.
That's a good point, yes.
It's a wonderful thing. The Chamber's been around since 1927.
Correct.
Right, and of course based in Pottstown, but as you mentioned, serving the region.
Yes.
But the business community of Pottstown has seen its ups and downs. Of course, this was once a thriving manufacturing.
Correct.
As many of the post-industrial towns now. It went through its ups and downs, and in the 70s and 80s saw a decline in employers, but the chambers remain strong and remain vibrant and a great voice for the business community. So
just tried to.
Yeah, just speak a little bit, if you can, just about the history of the chamber leading up to this point now.
Sure. Well, I haven't been here since 1927, but no, we're very proud of the fact that we're, an 85-plus-year-old organization, and we did start out as the Pottstown Chamber when it was originally founded. Eventually expanded to be Greater Pottstown, and then TriCounty, and then TriCounty Area, and all of those steps were basically to support and represent the growth that was going on in this area.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Basically, that transition from Pottstown to TriCounty was, as you were mentioning, Pottstown, at one point, most people would have looked at it as the business, manufacturing, etc., hub of this area.
Sure.
And the Tri-County region was growing off of that. So we changed our name to become a little bit more descriptive of that region. Right. Times have changed, and all of our demographics in our communities look a little different, but we're trying to continue to change as an organization to meet those needs. Maybe we don't have as many manufacturers, or a large number of large employers like some other cities and communities might have. We have a very strong small business community, and
you do.
That's what we're really looking to support.
And it's truly a reflection of what America has become now. It's no longer large employers and a job for life. It's really
right.
But there's a lot of small businesses that and some of them under the radar.
Yes, very much so.
And small manufacturers, but that's really the underpinnings of our economy right now.
Yes.
And I think this chamber does a very good job of serving all of those disparate types of businesses that now make up our local economy. So that's a great thing. Now let's talk a little bit before we get into some of the specifics of what the chamber does, and you can kind of mix this in here. But let's talk about what members get, because you pay dues as a member, but I always say it's an investment.
It is.
It's investment, and let's talk about the return on that investment. I mean, there's direct and indirect return, but let's talk about And I will make this point too, that if you are a member, it does help to participate in many of the opportunities the Chamber has to offer. So the more you do, the more you're going to get out of it, right?
Right.
So let's just talk a little bit about, some of the returns on the investment of being a Chamber member.
That is very true. We do encourage, unfortunately, we're not the magic wand that you join the organization and business falls at your feet. We wish it was that easy, but unfortunately it's not. But we do encourage people to come into the organization with a budget. So whether it be a budget of additional funds that they might want to put towards sponsorship or participation in various events, or if it's a budget of their time. Those are both important things for them to consider when they're coming into the organization. So we are really working right now to try and make things as easy as possible on our members. So the minute you join, you go on our website, so that's additional exposure for you. You obviously get listed in our new member listings in the Route 422, which has a distribution of 10,000 people seeing your name and contact information.
Right.
We have, you get put on our social media to say that you joined the organization. You get the window decal and a membership certificate. We put you in a press release out to the membership. You get invited to breakfast. So there are things that really don't involve a lot on your part, and we're trying to do even more of that to make it a lot easier for our members so that we know your time is valuable, and we know people are really time crunched and don't have a lot of extra time to give to one more thing.
Right.
So we're trying to ease that process. We're actually working on some template press releases that we can put out to a member, and you join the organization. Well, we'll send it out on behalf of our organization, but here's a press release. You just have to fill in your name, and you can share with the community that you've joined this business advocacy organization and are part of an organization that focuses on supporting the business community, just kind of share that story on your own.
And there's a certain amount of credibility that goes with being a chamber member. It means that you really submit yourself to a higher standard of ethics and a commitment to participation. And it is kind of a fellowship of businesses.
It is.
Particularly when now obviously it's not 2008.
No.
And things are getting better, but still, it's for certain industries, it's still tough out there. So it really is important to be part of a business community that supports each other, and together collectively create a better economic environment where everybody benefits. So just being a chamber member and having that credibility is also an asset. But let's talk about some other opportunities that being a chamber member creates. Now, you recently had your economic development luncheon. There's an annual dinner. There are mixers. There are breakfasts. There are workshops. There's all kinds of ways to interact, to learn, and to make important business contacts.
If you mentioned investing your time and participating in the organization, and if you have the time and are willing to do that, we have plenty of opportunities for you to do that. On a monthly basis, there's always a business card exchange. It's hosted by one of our local members, so you get a chance. It's an open house format, so you can come and go. You're not committed to a specific amount of time, but you get to make new contacts. There's no program, so it's completely networking oriented, and you get a chance to see a member who wants to showcase their facility.
Right.
We over 10 years ago now started our Women of the Workforce program.
Right.
Those are monthly luncheons. As you mentioned, the education part, we try and tie everything has a networking component because that's the type of organization we are. But we also try and educate. So Women of the Workforce, there's always a speaker that deals with something that we think would be relevant to the membership at large. You don't have to be a woman to come to WOW, to the Women of the Workforce program. But that opportunity exists on a monthly basis for people to get together.
Right.
And then you mentioned we annually, I shouldn't say very frequently, but annually we'll have special events that are larger in nature, have a bigger program, featured speaker that's a little bit more name recognition in the community. So we just had the Economic Development Luncheon in the fall, and we had the Executive Director for the Department of Travel and Tourism for the state. There's a lot going on. Wrapped around travel and tourism in our area.
And that was very, very educational experience learning about the impact of, the economic impact. And in particular in Pottstown, there's a lot of good things going on that will promote travel and tourism. So,
there are.
So,
and it's something that I think people again, they know the events take place, and you know, they're all positive things that I think people see as positive community events. But again, you know, it's taking that extra time to really think of the impact that those visitors have, and not only have had, but how can we capitalize, you know, keep them coming back, keep them having good experiences here in our area, and really, you know, promote our local businesses.
And build on what's here, and arts and culture, it all ties into that. So, but I also just want to stay on the events for a moment. You know, of course the business card exchanges are great, but you know, each event that you have really presents a kind of a different opportunity, but they all, you know, are similar in that there's a lot of networking that goes on. I mean, that's one thing I really see. There's a really strong organization, and there's some really, and honestly, there's a lot of really friendly business owners out there who give up their time and share and support other businesses. I'm not saying not all chambers are like that, but I'd say this one is definitely. I mean, I belong to several chambers too. This is one of the strongest chambers in that regard that I know. So. I mean, it really is worth your while just for that very reason to join the chamber. But
well, and I think just to speak to that, this morning was a membership breakfast, and that event adjourned a little earlier than we anticipated. You know, people, again, we know everybody has a lot to do, so you would think the majority of the audience would have taken advantage of those extra 15 minutes, you know, and headed back to their office. And I think most of the audience, or at least 3/4 of it, stayed almost until 9 o'clock when we would have normally adjourned, just exchanging business cards and furthering those connections. So, you know, I think it does make a statement to successful networking within our organization, because otherwise, if you didn't think those connections were going to pan out, you know, you would have not wasted the time and you would have just left.
Right. No, I think a lot of people, chamber members, take advantage of that opportunity, and it pays big dividends for them. So, I want to talk about some other, you know, benefits of the chamber, but I just want to dovetail a little bit into Leadership Tri-County program.
Yes.
Because you know, the important thing about Leadership Tri-County is that you're really developing leaders who serve in the public sector.
Correct.
And so just tell us a little bit about that program, what the opportunities are. And it's what is it, 10th year? I'm guessing, I don't know.
Actually, Leadership Tri-County has gone to an every other year program, but the first class was actually in 1993. Okay. So, yeah, we're past our 10th class.
Set class, right.
But leadership is, you know, near and dear to my heart. I'm a graduate of the program in 2000. Actually, the chamber sends all of our full-time staff graduate from the program. And I directed it for a number of years before I moved into the role of president. And it's 10 months of people really just learning about this community and the Tri-County region. And it's always amazing to me, and the people who go through the class, they spend 10 months in a community that they may have lived their whole life in, but they still walk away learning something about the community that they didn't know. And those 10 months learning about the community are to prepare them to serve on a nonprofit board of directors when they graduate from our program, and that is a requirement. When they graduate, they must give us the name and the agreement that they've reached with a nonprofit that they will be moving on to that board of directors upon completion of our program. And you mentioned public sector. You know, the original hope of the program was that those people would also see about the community, gain exposure, and would move into positions, elected roles in our communities, where that some of them, and some have, run for positions in their local townships or on school boards. But the other nice component is during the 10 months, they're working on a project to benefit a local chamber member nonprofit. So they're taking 10 months of their time, and they will present a project, a completed project, and its results to a nonprofit who may not have had the time or the money or maybe even the expertise to work on that project, and we can turn over an end result that they can then take and, you know, move forward with. So. It benefits the community in a lot of different ways.
A lot of ways is right, yeah, and that's I had forgotten about that component of it. The projects really actually turn into actions, which really end up benefiting this community, not just the economic community, but the society as a whole. Really, I mean, it's very worthwhile program and very successful. So, congratulations on that one. Keep that going.
Thank you very much.
A couple of things, you know, I want to get into here, but I'll just kind of swing around and you point me in whatever direction you like. But I'm going to talk a little bit about how technology is now, and by technology I mean social networking in particular, has really become so important. It's evolving. It's a little confusing to some people, but the Chamber, of course, has a very strong Facebook page and a very strong LinkedIn page, which is the business networking opportunities. But and I guess you're using Twitter too. I don't know. I'm not a Twitter user yet. But tell me a little bit about the role now of social networking in business and as a component of what we all do every day.
Right, and we almost have to.
Right.
It is to a point where there is no other choice.
Yeah.
If we're not in those areas, then we're going to be 10 steps behind. So we do really try and promote our Facebook use to promote our members. So we obviously promote chamber events, and when something's coming up, we'll use it also as an avenue to recap an event that might have just happened. But we use it as a platform to share the stories of our members. It's a resource for them to be able to send us press releases, send us photos or special events that are going on for them, and we'll share them through Facebook and through our Twitter feed. We do have a Twitter. Our marketing person tweets on behalf of the chamber. I do have my own Twitter. I am not really
well, you really
very
need that,
proficient.
You need to have somebody kind of take responsibility for that, because it is the kind of thing that you have to kind of keep current with, right? And your Facebook page, for example, is actually very interesting.
Yeah,
and with a ton of photos on there, and
right.
of course, about events. But when you talk about the benefits of networking, well, you can't always get out to events, but you know what? You can see a photo recap of the event and see individuals and it just once again expands upon that benefit of networking, whether you're directly involved or not. So that's a great new tool. I guess I'll call it new. It's not new, but this is the direction we're heading.
Right.
So.
And it gives us access to an audience. I think it's easier I think the most attractive thing about social media is it's easier for people to continue the story. So, I can send you an email and maybe you'll forward that email on to somebody, but, that's not that likely, that people are forwarding a ton of emails to other people. But social media, a tweet or a Facebook post that somebody
it's set up that
likes,
way.
It's right. It's meant to be shared and to go out to another audience. So I think that's really beneficial because, again, we can just continue to tell our story to a broader audience by using that tool.
Right, and the Facebook page, the way you're using it is exactly as it's meant to be. It really is more of a fun thing, as opposed to LinkedIn, which is more informative and educational, and you get a lot of links to articles, to videos, and to other resources that can benefit you as a business owner to learn through the LinkedIn page. So two different opportunities for social networking that work in concert and both, once again, benefit the organization and benefit the region. So it's good to see how it involves TriCounty Chambers with that.
We will continue to use those tools, and actually, it's never perfect. So, there's actually room for us to grow in both platforms, actually all 3 platforms. So, that's on our list of goals for this year. And you can never catch up, but just even making it more day to day and all staff. Not just myself and the marketing person. But Kitty, our special events director, posting her own comments about upcoming events, and just kind of adding another face to the organization.
And keeping people informed of upcoming events and opportunities, and that probably is it makes it easier to bring more people out as well. So it all works together. And of course, yes, you refer to the third opportunity, your website, which has been very strong as well, and that's where the member directory is, and a lot of resource information. So I'm sure our viewers will put that up on the screen, those 3 URLs that you can find all those pages on. But for chamber members, please go check them out, because that's a benefit of your membership. And to non-members, check it out and see what's going on at the chamber. You might want to learn a little bit more and come on out and join.
We'd be happy to have them.
And really, the more the merrier, because the stronger the organization gets, once again, the more everybody benefits.
Most
so that's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Now, I know we're going to run short on time, and so many things I want to talk about, but briefly, for those chamber members who are watching this show, there is a an incentive for referrals to bring other members into the organization, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Just with any, positive business story, they always say, if you tell somebody and refer, that's going to be the strongest type of support or,
Right.
positive
Right.
Reinforcement for a business.
Referrals are the best form of advertising and
Right.
marketing, sure.
And complimentary, and that's just what we're looking to do. Is we have very active membership of 440 businesses in the Tri-County region. They're coming to events, they're participating, they obviously see value in the organization. And again, as you mentioned, growth helps us all. So
Right.
all we're looking to do is really just have you share your story. If there's a neighboring business, if there's a customer or a vendor that you work with, that you think really could benefit as you have done, then just refer them to become part of the organization, or at least reach out to us, and we're happy to, share a little bit more information, and hopefully they see the fit for their business.
And I think there's also a financial incentive, isn't there?
Most definitely.
Yeah, okay, well, let's tell
We're
tell our members about
We're
that.
happy to
Yeah.
support our members,
Right.
and if you bring in a member and refer them, you'll receive $50 from the chamber. And hopefully you'll go and spend that at another chamber member
Yeah,
business and
yeah.
support the local community, business community.
Yep.
And we're doing some additional PR right now as part of this campaign, which runs until the end of November.
Right.
We have a website page that's just devoted to the campaign, so we're putting out and marketing the businesses and the person who referred. So we're trying to give you some extra exposure that way as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we just have a couple of minutes left, and I'd be remiss if I didn't try to toot my own horn and,
Yes.
and talk about our relationship. I, of course, publish the 422 Business Advisor magazine and 422bizmag.com and 422business.com. But we have a relationship that goes back
1999.
19, there you go. There
Yes.
you go. So I can't even count the years, but it's been I think, a very mutually beneficial
It has
relationship.
been.
And of course, we enjoy this organization tremendously. But we of course like to give you editorial space in the magazine. And because my mission is to help all businesses throughout the region. Anything I can do to help any chamber, but your chamber in particular, is truly beneficial. So I hope you feel that there's been benefit to the 422 Business Advisor as well.
There has been. The number of years that we've been partnering with you has just been, for a chamber our size, to reach an audience that we're able to through the Route 422 is huge for us. We could never do that on our own. So the fact that we've been able to make this partnership work for both organizations for so long, and that continues to give us that opportunity is phenomenal. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you too. Okay, we just a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to give you an opportunity. Is there anything that we haven't touched on here that you think our viewers should know about, or you want to mention any of the chamber staff and give them a little shout out? Or
Well, sure. I'm always happy to mention them. We're not. It's not just me.
Sure.
Sitting here.
Right.
We have Kitty Papp, who's a Pottstown native.
Yep.
Kitty's our special events director. Jeff Dentler, who's also a Pottstown native.
Okay.
Jeff is our vice president of finance and technology. We have Melissa Shaneline. She's a part-time administrative assistant with us. She's from the Boyertown area. And from the Springford area, we have Heather Terrell. She's our marketing and communications assistant. So we're small but mighty.
small but mighty, and I guess it's Heather's job to be the front person on the social networking, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay,
She
good.
is the
Somebody's got to do it.
the Facebook posts and the
Yeah.
tweets. Fortunately,
Yeah.
a little bit more technology savvy than I am.
Yes,
So.
yeah. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Really
been.
enjoyed
Thank
it.
you so much.
And I just want to emphasize to our viewers that if you don't know about this organization, learn about it. Get involved, because I'm telling you, if you're a business owner, there's no better investment you could do than to join this chamber and join a bunch of successful people who you will learn from, who will support you, and together we'll all make this a stronger community. So thank you for viewing, and we'll see you next month.